Oh me, oh my, what's going on, League of Legends fans? I hope you're all doing well. Also, any long-term viewers out there, you know when this book gets pulled out, this is Mama's book. My mom gave me this crazy ideas book, and I keep all the list of names and ideas for esports and stuff out there, but one of which is actually a long list of pro players who have said things they should not be saying. If you're in this book, it's probably not for a good reason. Now, speaking of which, actually from the League of Legends scene, also from the LFL, that's going to be former Misfits member. I say former because he has now been let go from the organization, that being Neon. I guess you could call this from the LFL kind of the feeder team out there for other organizations and the Misfits League of Legends roster. He has now been let go, alongside that suspended for the first half of next split because of, well, some repeated offenses out there of some toxicity. Now, I'm going to talk a lot about this, and I am super curious, especially for all of you avid viewers out there, what your thoughts are on this, because we see this time and time again, and I'll stick to this one-liner if I can. If you are replaceable in esports, you will be punished. If you are not replaceable, it seems you will not be punished, and this is not a rare guideline out there. Traditional sports follow the same suit. If you are more valuable, if you are more worthy, if you are not replaceable on a team out there, you will likely not be replaced, and you will likely not be punished for doing things that the lesser valuable players out there will be punished for, and we see it time and time again. This is exactly the case with a guy like Neon. Now, first of all, I'm not saying he did not deserve a punishment, okay? They've given their statement as well on screen for all of you guys. As you can see, he was actually warned, and also had multiple issues of toxicity inside solo queue, and that's why he's now been let go from the organization and suspended for half a split. As this is obviously multiple infractions, guys, he was warned for his behavior in the past. He continued that same behavior they said they would not approve of in the future, and so this punishment, maybe it is justified, but it is very harsh compared to what other pro players out there do see. Now, before we get into the meat of this argument, let's show his post as well. Neon's response to this, which I think was a pretty valid and fair response. You feel bad for the guy. He was already exploring options, has now been let go to, freely seek those options, and with his response as well, as he calls that post actions and consequences. First of all, I'm really sorry to all the fans and Misfits. As you already know, I got a competitive ruling. Solo queue toxicity has always been something I struggled with, and was one of the things I tried to work on in the offseason. On multiple occasions, I got lost in the heat of the moment and called people things I never should. It's as if I forgot that I was playing and interacting with people rather than just champions and names. Sorry to all those affected. However, I do not consider myself as a toxic person or a teammate, and those who've met me can vouch for that. I want to clarify that this was toxicity only remained in solo queue, and I was not toxic towards any teammates on my current or previous team. Honestly, I never really realized what I was doing, and I will have to pay the consequences. This whole turn of events leaves a huge question mark over my future with League. I will use the upcoming months to rethink my approach to online gaming. I am still very motivated to compete, and I will do what I can do to better myself. And this instantly makes me think of two examples. Now, I believe it was actually either late 2018, early 2019. Do you guys remember the string of LCS, LEC, LCK, and other pros out there amongst the competitive ruling who got a long string of fines and nothing else for toxic behavior in solo queue and other group matches? And this is really weird to see, because those are your top level pros. They're not an LFL person. These are main league pros out there who just got a string of $1,000, $1,500, and $2,000 fines for the same thing. Now, again, in the defense of Misfits here, I'm not judging their decision because it was multiple infractions, and they didn't even tell us the exact words he did use in solo queue. So you got to imagine they were obviously very bad. But that brings up a second case, which is even more recent, that of Norse Scarin. Formerly of Splice, he's now been traded away ever since his instance, which I think does still have to be talked about, that being the use of what was seemingly a racial slur, and he even came out and apologized for doing so. So he openly admitted it was something he should not have said. That was obviously comes off as a racial slur. It was obviously abbreviated into 3 letters, which I don't need to really tell you guys about. Either way, though, whatever happened of that, we don't really know. Was he issued a fine? It wasn't really exactly public information out there. He certainly was not suspended. In fact, he was sold and traded away. And so that really does, even with a recent example out there, I could give you many others in Mama's book out here of many other pro players who are more valuable, and I think that's fair to say, or maybe at the top of the team, right? Obviously a main league player compared to an LFL player, but he was replaceable, that being Neon. And so if he actually had these infractions, they're going to let him go because they can, and he's replaceable. What about if a top line pro did the same exact thing? Would he just be fined and let go and continue to play for that team or a different team? I have no idea, but it seems very clear out there across several esports, not just League of Legends. This is a time and time again thing we do see. If you are not replaceable, you will not be replaced. One other example for all of you guys who don't believe exactly what I'm saying over here, we look towards Call of Duty. Most recently, we had a player out there had several infractions as well of actually dissing on mental handicaps. He was replaceable. His name was Mutex. He was an analyst / S&D specialist for the Dallas Empire lineup, and they let him go because he was replaceable. We've seen other pro players get away with this kind of stuff because they are not replaceable. They bring a lot of money, a lot of fans and viewership to their organizations. And again, not necessarily blame the organizations here, because we see this time and time again throughout all sports out there, but it's certainly something that needs to be pointed out. I feel bad for Neon. The decision was justified. I don't think the choices and decisions that organizations make are fair to every player out there. As always, though, super curious what you guys think about this. I'm saying the ban was justified. It's just not fair considering what other pro players get away with. Until next time, take care. Breaking down gaming esports news here every single day, all day long. Hopefully next time you guys see this book will be a while from now, because it seems that so many pro players in the esports scene don't know what to and not to say. Okay, I'm going to go have some coffee. Bye, guys.